When Komodo hit the market, it offered a somewhat affordable RED camera with RED image quality in a small form factor, including a global shutter. Now, 1 year later, I'm going to tell you if it was a good decision buying the Komodo, as well as everything I've learned, how the Komodo works and what are the best settings. Coming up. First, I want to talk about some problems the Komodo has that you should definitely be aware of. The SDI port. With Komodo, there's a high chance that you destroy your SDI port simply by turning on and off the camera. To avoid this, always unplug SDI cables before turning off or on your Komodo. Otherwise, there's a chance that you fry your SDI port. IR pollution. When using higher stops of ND, you're gonna encounter IR pollution with the Komodo. It's not as bad as the Blackmagic cameras, but you make sure that you use an IR cut filter, which I will link one down below that I've used and I'm pretty happy with it. RED approved media and batteries. I have people seen on YouTube saying that they use knockoff batteries and it works fine. I definitely can't confirm this at all. When I used any cheap BP knockoff battery, the Komodo got stuck in a boot loop or did shut off on me when I hit record and all that stuff. So definitely use RED approved batteries or media. Personally, I use batteries from Drupio, which offer much more capacity than the Canon ones at a lower price. Okay, now let's talk about ISO and how it works on RED cameras. Unlike every other camera, RED cameras don't have a native or a base ISO. ISO is just metadata you can use to brighten or darken your image in post. But which ISO you set while shooting will affect your dynamic range. If you set your ISO higher, you will protect your highlights. If you set your ISO lower, you will get more shadow detail. RED recommends shooting at ISO 800 since it gives you the equal amount of dynamic range in the shadows as well as in the highlights. Let's say if you're shooting a scene with a lot of highlights, you better shoot at ISO 1600 to protect your highlights more. Just make sure to not clip any information by using the RED traffic lights. Speaking of which, the image and dynamic range in this camera is just amazing. Every time I look at my final image, it looks amazing. The highlight, roll-off, skin tones, colors, everything looks really pleasing to me. So this camera produces by far the best image I've ever worked with. Also, the RED RAW gives you tons of possibilities in post and works buttery smooth on any system. I've used the Komodo in pretty rough conditions, ice, snow, dry and hot, and it got completely soaked with dirt water on a shoot. I never had any issue that the Komodo let me down, so the Komodo is really robust and it's gonna be your perfect companion wherever you go. Now, was it the right decision buying the Komodo? Absolutely, and I would still buy it today. The value for the price you get is amazing and I never regret that I sold my Blackmagic cameras for the Komodo. Also, 6K at 40 FPS is more than enough for B-roll shots. Combined with the global shutter, you get perfectly smooth handheld shots. I already did a pretty in-depth review about the Komodo where I talk about more like autofocus, low light and so on, so definitely make sure to watch that as well. I will link it for you somewhere here. So if you have any questions regarding the Komodo or want to share your experience with the camera, make sure to comment below so everybody can learn. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did so, please hit or smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to don't miss any of my upcoming content. Stay safe. Cheers!